What's up, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome to VHP Engines. All right, so I know there's been at least a handful of you guys have been patiently waiting for this upload, and the reason why it took me so long is explained in well, no, this video. This is gonna be a little news update. Um, as always, I try not to spam the channel too much with shit like that, but I think it's pretty important. I was actually gonna talk about that in this video, but decided against it because it ran a lot longer than I planned for, and I didn't want a 20-minute video with half of it being a channel update, potentially scaring off viewers from watching this video. All right, so the K24 is the topic, and the K24 isn't very complicated. Thankfully, it's not. It's pretty cut and clear, dry cut and clear, and the whole thing is the reason why it took me so long. Besides what I say in the update, is that the fact that I wanted to be able to make sure I covered all my bases and angles on this, and so I did a little snooping around on the fucking Evans Tuning's page, looking through diagraphs. I also talked to a friend of mine who builds fuck tons of K series. Again, Alexander Tomlinson, the guy I made the MR2 video about, is doing the K-Salt MR2. He does all the more modern shit from a lot of the guys down in Miami. And the thing is before I wanted to talk about this video, I wanted to discuss the K24 A4 piston or rods compared to the was it Z something? I don't remember, the TSX ones. So, being the reason why is that looking at the power capability of the K24 A4, it's the K24 A4. It's the K24 that comes out of the Element, and the K24 that comes out, I do believe, the CRV. Now the thing is that's like the K28-3, how it's a weaker version of what the other ones are. The K24 A4 and the other one that's like it, it's like 160 horsepower. And the rods on it are really small, and the compression's low. It's like nine something. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was either 9.6 or 9.8. I can't remember. So the compression's on the low side, and the rods are on the small side. And looking at that for boost, immediately I'm thinking it's just got the same capabilities of the A3. Now, to go start digging around, start looking at forums, I found an old fucking forum conversation where a guy claims 530 or 513 wheel horsepower out of a stock K24 A4 with only injectors and boost, or stock boost with injectors. Now, I got into a discussion with somebody last night on the page, and he's one of the guys waiting for it. Let's see, I do believe his name is Andrew. Let me double check. Yeah, Andrew Hart. And he, sent me a message with a screenshot from that discussion. And if you search for this, if you look for stock boost K24 A4, that's what you'll find. You'll find that 500 some horsepower claimed K24 stock block, but it's the only one. So, that's the only right way. That kind of like throws up red flags for me, that the only build you see from K24 A4 is supposedly putting down over 500 horsepower is this one block. So it kind of makes me think that either somebody's lying or somebody fucked up when they said A4 and they meant like K24 A2 or some shit like that. I'm thinking maybe this got fudged up. But it's one of those things that in the discussion with Andrew, I told him I don't trust the numbers. And it's because, common sense and deductive reasoning. And then he brought up the good point of this too. Looking at a car's weight and looking at its wheel horsepower, you can get a general estimation of what quarter mile that'll run. Now, of course, there's a whole bunch of factors to run into, like air temperatures and fucking tires and suspension, driver. There's a whole bunch of wild card factors that come into that play. But you can use deductive reasoning and common sense to know that this horsepower, this weight should run around about this time. And I've used that plenty of times with a friend. To go off on a little bit of a tangent here, quick story time. I had a friend who had moved out with me he transferred. We were together in Korea. I went to fucking Fort Bliss, and eventually, within a year or so, he came to Fort Bliss. And I was, of course, back in the States, so I was back and driving my little hot rod cars. I was working on the CRX. The CRX was getting built, and I had an SRT4 at the time. Homeboy had a G35. thought it was the fastest thing alive. A car enthusiast, but not really knowledgeable in the car world. So I got out there one day, lined up with him, showed him up. He was like, "Oh my God, you know, the fucking SRT4 is amazingly fast." It's like, no, it's not. It's not amazingly fast. It's just faster than what you have. So, and at the time, he was also driving this, you know, an automatic car, and he wanted. I gave him a lot of shit about it. He wanted to get back into a manual. We went out to a dealership. He negotiated. I helped him negotiate a trade for trading that G35 in for an IS300. Now, a lot of you guys may think, and even me personally think, that that's not the greatest trade, straight up car for car, you know. But the good thing about it was, you know, it's a 2J, and it was manual, so that's a great way to start. Now, he went around me to, because that dealership recommended to him shop to across the street that did a lot of 2J builds, and that guy talked my homeboy into buying a JDM 2J, you know, and swapping it. You know, that's that discussion for another video. But anyway, you know, we got into an argument. The guy promised him a certain amount of horsepower, and I told him that it's not going to happen with what he's getting. And I told him he's going to have a 13-second car, and he said there's no way. And eventually, he ran 13s. So, anyway, that if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments. And when I go to talk about the 2J or the Supra, I will talk about that story in a little bit more detail. Shit. Yeah, I got myself sidetracked. So you're looking at deductive reasoning, you're looking at the K24 rods. If they're the same as the E3, how the fuck is it making 500 horsepower without exploding? Because it's not. They're very close to similar to single cam rods. I don't see stock single cam rods making anywhere near that kind of power without popping. So the factor that came into talking about homeboy who builds a lot of K engines, you know, I couldn't get a side-by-side comparison for the A3 rods and the A4. So I was like, hey man, I'm just double checking here. I'm pretty sure this is the case, but are the A4 rods about the same size as the A3? And he was like, yeah, they're pieces of shit. So, with that being said, if you're looking at, you know, forced induction for a K24, for A4 stock, I wouldn't do it. But here's the great thing about the A4, or the K24 A4, or K24s in general, which is why I said that the K24 is way more versatile than the K20A3. The K20A3 is to upgrade the rods. Sorry. To upgrade rods, you need to swap the crank because the journals are smaller. Now, with the K24A4, you can keep the fucking crank, and all you have to do to upgrade is to swap over pistons and rods from the TSX engine. They're much beefier, and those can handle upwards of 500 horsepower. Now, like I said in the K28-2 video when I was talking about that, or talking about K-Series in general somewhere along this fucking channel, I mentioned that that they can touch 500 horsepower, they can stay there for a while, but they can't stay there indefinitely. So if you're wanting to make a budget K swap to really put down some power, like if you want to make 400 horsepower on a stock K, no problem. Grab a K24 and grab the K24A4 for fucking mad cheap. Grab the TSX pistons and rods, and you might want to consider doing a head swap unless you want to keep it on a super budget. But with that also being said too, the K24 I think it's the K24A2. I may be wrong about that. I'm probably wrong, but whatever. The TSX engine, that shit's rated to like 205, 210 horsepower. So if you were to same with the K20A3, grab the pistons and rods and do an upgrade like that, you could, and do the head swap, you could do an upgrade for you'd be making the same power as the K24 from the TSX, and again saving a fuck ton of money. The other thing that makes this great about the fact that you don't have to swap the crank out is it makes it super easy also to find aftermarket rods for the K24A4. So you could buy, you know, if you wanted to make a 500 horsepower K24, you could buy pistons and rods, and there you go. And it wouldn't be a fucking mission like with, you know, upgrading a K20A3. So plus you got the added thing with displacement, which is a huge fucking bonus. So as far as the K swap, the go-to K swap, you know, yes, I made an argument for the K20A3, and yes, I believe that you can have a K20A3 and make decent power off of it. But the go-to K for me would be the K24. So if you have a chance to get the K24, then that is most certainly the way to go. Now, as far as talking about the head swapping and shit like that, the K28-2 head, versus the K24 head out of the TSX. Now, from what I've been seeing and what I can gather, is the K28-2 head flows a little bit better up top, so you make more power on the high end. But it's not like a huge amount of power. So if you do have the TSX K24 head already, then I wouldn't worry about upgrading to an A2 if you're gonna go boost. But if you're gonna stay in A and you're trying to squeeze out as much possible power in A, then yeah, the K28-2 head would be a better head choice for the K24. Now, if you want to talk about the cam upgrades for the K, once again I'll reference Evans Tuning. He has a video that I might link in the description at some point if I'm not lazy, that says essential or things needed for a K build. And one of the things that he discusses in that video is the fact that when upgrading cams on a K series, you're better to upgrade in the OEM realm instead of going for aftermarket, because aftermarket cams tend to break timing tensors and all that shit. They cause more problems than gains, and you'll get similar gains using OEM cams. Now the thing is for that is I don't remember which cams that he said were the better ones to use. I think that you could probably find out with a quick Google search, or you go to Evan's Tuning channel and look for that K video, and I'm fairly certain that he does say which cams in that. I just don't remember right now. So yeah, I'm gonna try and talk about it one more time real quick at the end here, try and get all the shit lined up because I know we kind of jumped around. If you're getting a K24 A4 and you want to go with the cheapest route, go with the A4 or its brother that also makes 160. Remove the pistons and rods and get the rods from the TSX, the pistons and rods from the TSX. That'll bump your compression up to 11 point something, and it'll give you decent power in A. If you want to make the most out of that power in A, then you get the K28-2 head to go with it. Or if you're gonna boost the K24 A4, don't expect to make a lot of power out of that that stock block because the rods are fragile. But again, you can upgrade with a stock pistons and rods from the TSX and make good power like that. Or you can just get aftermarket pistons and rods and make even better power. So that's pretty much it. As far as recommending the K series, definitely the K24 is definitely the easier one to build, and there's so much more advantages to it. If I had the chance right now, the K24 would be what I'd grab. I've considered putting the K20A3 on the side and eventually boosting one and doing a forged build, but I think I would definitely like to just hold out and get a K24. Yep, so that's that. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next discussion video or whatnot. Oh, real quick, I want to add in, I do have main caps for that block. I just didn't have bolts. And that's what I thought that I remembered. And I just double checked that I do. So that video, or that B18 block that I just posted the other day on Instagram, the one that's all cleaned up and ready to go, that's going to be probably the virgin part that I put up on eBay. Just to let you guys know that I am going to be taking one more long weekend, then I have a regular weekend, and Labor Day weekend I want to be fucking MIA. But for the time being, for this next long weekend, I'm going to clean a lot of the parts I have, and I am going to start organizing eBay selling, hopefully. I'll keep you guys posted on that. I might make a separate video, or I might just post something on Facebook. So just look out for that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Social media is all in the links in the description. Social media links are in the description below if you guys want to hit me up or follow me there. Peace. Thanks for watching.